on Bitcoin cryptocurrency. Today, going to be taking a look at Dogecoin against USDT. Going to be assessing some of these key technical aspects of price action moving forward. Going to be looking at some of these pivotal areas of support and resistance I believe we're going to be interacting with in the very near future here. Are you bullish? Are you bearish on Dogecoin? What are you doing with your bag? If you have one, do you trade? Do you hold? Do you let the price action unfold? Do you think we are, bullish enough to maintain the uptrend? Is this just a pullback? Are we just in another phase of accumulation, similar to not too long ago? And then we can just, are we going to blast to that dollar Doge in no time, or are we going to plow back to next to worthless, where Doge kind of like came from? Let me know in the comments down below. Are you bullish? Are you bearish on price action moving forward? I'll jump right into it. To kind of recap the ridiculousness that is Dogecoin at the moment, we have this crazy up and then sideways, very parabolic run with the support of billionaire Elon Musk tweeting his, liking for the coin and whatnot, until, appearing on television and stating a more sort of like realer opinion on it, and then causing, ridiculous fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the in an already very volatile market that is cryptocurrency. And so in these sort of phases of accumulation, after some ridiculous vertical price action, we have like tens of days of kind of sideways as we accumulate sort of downward along a kind of relatively tight range before kind of flying vertically again. And so I suspect we could very well have based on kind of this current price action and where we are at these levels, and so based on the kind of new volume present at these price levels, we could very well have a prolonged kind of phase of sideways, similar to kind of like not too long ago here, back in sort of between like the 29th of January and kind of the sort of like 12th, like 13th of April there. We kind of were stuck in a bit of a sideways, technically, with like that kind of swing high at the beginnings of the kind of phase there at like 8 cents, and then with like lows roughly accumulating kind of along sort of like 4 cents there, but ultimately finding support around 5 cents, in my opinion, for a good good over 70 days. And so this was a very significant phase of accumulation for the trend in the long term, in my opinion. And so if price action were to play out in a similar manner, we could very well expect the trend to continue in the kind of much longer term, and we could very well see the $1 to multi-dollar Doge at this point. And so based on the current bullishness of this kind of pullback, we are still, based on even the fundamental news that is present, we are still on a fundamental level still quite bullish, in my opinion. From the technical standpoint, we are still very, very overbought, and some sell-off and some like pullbacks and sell pressure is to be expected. And so I do suspect price action to kind of stay within this kind of zone here, between kind of like under 36 cents and above 22 cents, in my opinion, for a period of time before we can kind of interact with these sort of like highs around the kind of 50 to 60 cent, 70 cent area. Perhaps, if we were to get a rejection off of kind of like any price under sort of like 75 cents there, if we were to get rejected, then we could perhaps consider a reversal occurring, and a perhaps more mid to longer term bearish price action or bearish trend might occur for Dogecoin. But at this moment, we are just in a kind of another phase of accumulation. These retests of support are going to be very bullish short and midterm, and so we could very well see these 50 cent, 60 cent levels in the kind of not so distant future. When we consider EngineeringRobo, along with the Fibba Zucchini lines of Illuminati, Sacred Symmetry, Geometry, and Illuminati as well, the second time, we have the sell for and hell coming back into play, suggesting some very sort of bearish price action, in my opinion. We could very well make our way back down to this 0.382 at 28 cents. I believe that's rather inevitable, as there's very significant resistance at 0.5 line at 37 cents, which is which is kind of like correlating with the bottom of my slapping zone of shoving and not good area time. We have 36 cents, and so that 0.5 line just above there. 0.618 correlating with the top of that zone at 44 cents, the 0.618 at 46 cents. And so I believe that's going to be a very significant area of support and resistance. We're going to have to perhaps kind of step our way through, kind of retesting and confirming it kind of way, or we're going to have to blast our way through all the way up to that 0.786 at 58 cents. We have a very sort of like bearish, sort of like midterm target of the sort of like just below my sort of lower area of slapping, shoving, not good area, kicking and punching zone. We have the 0.236 line at like 17 cents, 18 cents kind of area. And so that could be a very, very bearish sort of like midterm target that we could eventually kind of make our way down to, based on these kind of current sell suggestions, if we aren't, fundamentally held up by, news happening in the world. And so there's lots going on for Dogecoin at the moment. In at this current kind of like state of price action, I expect some prolonged sideways, like I've been saying. But although the trend still does seem rather bullish in the long term, and so we could very well maintain these levels and then see that kind of 60, 70 cent Dogecoin. Again, when we consider Dogecoin against the price of Bitcoin, we see some more consolidation between these kind of two ranges here. We have significant what was resistance above 738 Satoshi and under 783 Satoshi was resistance kind of back in the 16th of April, 19th and 20th. Broke through it in the kind of 3rd of May and then interacted with upper resistance around kind of like 1085 and 1289 Satoshi, kind of a larger zone there of not good time area. The price action did not want to stay in for too long. We got slapped all the way back down to that lower zone of 789 to 736 to confirm it as support. And so I suspect, based on price action pumping off of that, printing lower highs in that kind of zone of resistance and coming down to kind of this area, I do suspect a retest of this kind of lower zone of like 781 with lows of perhaps 738. And so, in my opinion, we could very well kind of make our way down to that kind of support line and then kind of make our way up sort of vertically toward that new area, the upper area of 1083 and 1288. I do believe price action is going to have to kind of like step our way kind of through it or just blast through it kind of vertically. I do believe that's going to be a very significant area of resistance upon kind of interacting with it. When we consider EngineeringRobo, along with the Fibba Illuminati lines of Lamborghinis, Zucchinis, Martinis, and Linguinis, we can see different sort of perspective come into play here. When we can see price action above this 200 daily moving average, we are still quite bullish, although we are very far away from that 200 daily. So I mean, a retest of the 200 daily could occur at some point, which would cause some very, very, very prolonged sideways, months and months perhaps. We have the buy for and cloud buy supporting this kind of like potential bullish price action against the price of Bitcoin. And so with the bearish suggestions on the USDT chart, we could very well see kind of like price decline slightly to kind of like lower support areas. But with the bullish suggestions on the Bitcoin chart, we could suspect price action to kind of maintain sort of more bullish sort of sideways against the kind of Satoshi values here as Bitcoin kind of figures itself out during this kind of ridiculous fear, uncertainty, and doubt moment in the market as everybody's in the middle of panic selling and panic accumulating. As we don't know, are these going to be the last lows? Is this the beginning of the reversal? So what's happening in crypto. Bitcoin, Dogecoin, still looking bullish in my opinion against the price of Bitcoin. Lots going on in the market. I do suspect interaction with these Fibonacci lines to be kind of quite significant in kind of support and resistance moving forward. We have 0.618 line just above my kind of slapping zone there. There's 0.618 at 910 Satoshi. I feel like we're going to come down to that for sure, in my opinion. The 0.5 line is like kind of way below my sort of zone there of 736 and 782. The 0.5 line is at 652 Satoshi, and so I mean that could be a sort of more bearish midterm sort of target that we could like wick down to and have some sort of sort of more of phases of accumulation kind of between there, some more opportunities kind of to buy below that kind of resistance. But I do suspect price action to be bullish enough to hold above 738 Satoshi. Hopefully above the 0.618 line, we could be kind of more short-term bullish. When we consider Bitcoin against USDT, we can see the ridiculousness that is sell pressure. We have lots going on in the crypto sphere here at the moment. We have, plenty of, like I said, fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the market. We have plenty of new investors accumulating at what was, at the moment, or what was at the time, not a local top like it is now. And so this was definitely a nice time to be accumulating. We were looking very bullish. We were coming down to retest these kind of lower support lines. We had the super buy coming in. Buy 4 after that, the aggressive sell-off off of all-time highs. Thought we were going to come up, but then, momentum had to play out. Universe had to let you know that this is crypto, and we broke downward, even though everybody was still bullish. We came all the way down tens of thousands of dollars, 50% correction over the course of weeks. And so now here we are under the 200 daily moving average between the 0.5 and 0.618 Fibba Zucchini line. Going to that 34K and 41K is going to be very significant support and resistance moving forward. We're going to have very volatile multi-$1,000 pumps up and down over the course of the coming weeks. I do suspect perhaps a month of sideways below this 200 daily before we can sort of confirm the uptrend to continue kind of upward. I do suspect in the long term that Bitcoin is like, more bullish than ever in my opinion. And so this is definitely going to be seeming like a very nice phase of accumulation, some nice lows before the kind of 100K levels that we are likely to see this year still. We do have like a more bearish target as 32K there, some more significant support found around 32K. We could have some more wicks down to there, some aggressive flash crashes the closer we get to 34K perhaps. That 200 daily moving average is going to be pretty significant. Everybody is selling off of it, as that is a I think a large like technical sell indicator. As price action is closing below it, that is typically an indication of a bear trend occurring. But I do believe the fundamentals of Bitcoin itself are strong enough to kind of hold through the technical sell pressure present under this moving average. We also have the sell 4 and super sell in play to kind of suggest to support this this sell off. And so I mean, until the EngineeringRobo's buy suggestions come back into play, I do think that we are going to stay rather volatile and sideways in this kind of range. Like I said, the 0.618 and 0.5, 34K to 41K is going to be the nice zone that I believe we're going to be bouncing back and forth between. Thank you for hearing my analysis. Thank you for tuning in. Let me know in the comments down below. Are you bullish? Are you bearish on Dogecoin, on Bitcoin? Do you buy? Do you hold? Do you trade? What's your kind of strat moving forward with your bag, if you have one? Check out all the social media down below. Subscribe here on YouTube. Check out EngineeringRobo free with a link in the description. And tune in for the next one.